everyone. You're watching Holla at a Hero, where we talk with everyday heroes that are doing their part to bring heaven on earth. I'm Charity, and I'm the Director of Connections and First Impressions at Church of the City East Nashville. And today I'm really excited because I get to share my conversation with Kathryn Hofstetter. Kathryn is a licensed marriage and family therapist, as well as the Director of Development at the Refuge Center for Counseling in Franklin. The Refuge Center is a missional partner of Church of the City and is a nonprofit that helps serve our community by providing affordable, essential mental health and wellness services. In this episode, Kathryn helps navigate our emotions of uncertainty during this season. We may be feeling maybe a bit of depression, some anxiety, and even boredom. And she helps walk us through that and gives us some incredible tips and tricks on how to beat the quarantine isolation blues. To find out more about the Refuge Center, the work that they're doing, and even the events that Kathryn mentions, give them a follow on their socials and check out therefugecenter.org. And don't forget to follow and subscribe our YouTube channel for Church of the City East Nashville, where we'll be uploading more episodes of Holla at a Hero and some other great content in the weeks to come. I miss you guys. Hope you all are well and washing your hands. I can't wait for us to meet together. Hopefully it's sooner rather than later. Love you guys. Stay well.
Hey, Kathryn, how are you doing?
Hi, Charity. Good. How are you doing? It's a beautiful day.
It is. I never knew that I was so environmentally sensitive because this sunshine has done something restorative.
Ditto.
Grateful.
Yeah. Vitamin D.
Absolutely. So I want to introduce you guys to my friend Kathryn. She works with one of our missional partners, the Refuge Center for Counseling, located in Franklin, and we're super excited to chat just about mental wellness, self-care, overall well-being during this season of uncertainty and isolation. We want to make sure all our people are taken care of, and we're really grateful that Kathryn's agreed to sit down and chat with us for a little bit. Kathryn, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about Refuge Center for those that may not know.
Yeah. Well, again, my name is Kathryn Hofstetter, and I am the Director of Development at the Refuge Center for Counseling in Franklin. I'm also a licensed marriage and family therapist. And so, we're so thankful to be missional partners with Church of the City and are actually right down the road from the Franklin campus. And so, just thankful to be in ministry together.
Thank you. We're grateful for you guys. We were just talking earlier. We often send a lot of our people your way. And so we're grateful that you guys are accessible and available to care for our people so well. Talk a little bit about what the Refuge Center for Counseling does, who they normally see, who you guys normally see, and kind of what you guys do.
Well, we're the Refuge Center is a nonprofit counseling center in Franklin. We're Christ-centered, and our mission is simply to provide affordable professional counseling services to children, families, and individuals in our community who are needing that emotional and mental health support. So kind of the hallmark is the pairing of affordability and excellence. And so we see children as young as 4 and then all the way up. And we can see the whole family in one place. So, you can bring dad, mom, and little Billy, or you can just bring your spouse, or you can just bring you. So
that's awesome. So I don't know, I assume by proximity, Franklin wasn't highly affected by the tornadoes in March, but again, you guys care for so many of our people, and then along with the novel coronavirus, I'm sure that it's affected kind of day-to-day operations and how you guys do normal life there now. Can you talk a little bit about how the pandemic, how
Yeah.
those affected you guys?
Well, obviously, the past month has been really hard for our overall community, just with the tornadoes and then literally pivoting into the COVID-19 crisis so quickly. And so we were about to launch some tornado relief groups that were going to be free. And then, of course, pretty quickly, the COVID situation heightened, restrictions heightened, and we had to pivot into about 95% telehealth as quickly as possible, for safety for clients and staff and our community. So it's certainly been a challenging time, but I think what we are experiencing is now more than ever, and in the months to come, people are very aware of their emotional and mental health needs. And there's just a lot of collective grieving going on. And that looks different for everybody. We all go through emotions in different ways at different timing. It's not linear. So we have found ourselves just trying to adjust to the need and to still be available to our community, since we are an essential resource, but also doing that mostly through telehealth now. Yeah. So it's a crazy time, for everybody, and it's just affected everyone differently.
Totally. I work at a nonprofit health clinic that treats primary care, and we too have started implementing telehealth for patients that either don't want to come out or can't come out. So I know what that kind of looks like, and I would venture to say a lot of our people know what that looks like.
Yes.
But therapy, you think counseling and therapy, the one-on-one, the body language, I would imagine that there is some potential for feeling disconnected, or maybe a barrier of that they can't maybe be more vulnerable, or maybe not feel more honest. What are some of the barriers that you see with telehealth, with the e-therapy? And then also, what are some of the opportunities? Because some people may be like, she doesn't have to see that I'm fidgeting my hands, and
I can wear my yoga pants if they're
there's freedom. There's freedom in the soft pants.
Yeah. No, those are great questions. Well, first and foremost, we use a HIPAA compliant, portal called Doxy. And so I think what we've found is it's usually that initial virtual session that creates the most nerves or uncertainties. And then after that, we've had a really positive response and positive experience. What the research has actually showed us about telehealth, especially in the past 5 years, is it's been just as effective as in-person therapy. Now, obviously, from a therapist perspective too, there's nothing that you can compare to that human connection and being in person. But for a scenario like this, it is a really awesome opportunity to still continue your treatment plan if you're in counseling and wanting to continue to work towards your counseling goals, or begin counseling because you need some additional support during these stressful times. Maybe you're alone in a home, and being able to connect with somebody else once or twice a week is going to be really life-giving to you during this time. Maybe this time is giving you reflection, and you're like, I could really use some counseling to start working through this experience or this relationship. And then also, maybe you're in the house with your family all day and you need another outlet for your therapist. And so we've had a positive experience so far. Of course, there's some limitations or some families that we just cannot do being remote. But we've had a really good response, and the cool opportunity, to your opportunity point as well, is we can serve the entire state with our sliding fee structure, because with telehealth, you can reach a greater audience and a greater totally meet their needs. So that's something maybe we can even bring into the new normal as we're all kind of adapting day to day. Obviously, we'll be prioritizing those in-person sessions, but for now, this has been a really helpful and healthy alternative for us. So
awesome. So you've been able to reach more statewide on a sliding scale, continuing with the sliding scale, and to
yeah, and we just never want finances to be a barrier. And so to be able to offer that sliding scale to people who really need the support but truly cannot pay $150 a session or whatever the going rate is for Nashville, Williamson, and beyond, we really are thankful that we can offer that even, beyond our immediate community. So that's a neat aspect that we hadn't really seen come in.
That's awesome. And then, so if you don't mind, walk me through what someone's initial, the initial virtual counseling session would be.
Yeah, well, if you were to call the Refuge Center today, I mean, our front desk is working remotely, and so they're answering the phones 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. And they'll set you up with a virtual intake session, which is only 30 minutes. So we have intake specialists who just meet with you, kind of talk through some of the presenting issue, what's bringing you to counseling, and then they assign you to a therapist based on your preferences, your needs and desires, and then that therapist would call you and kind of introduce you to the virtual realm and send you your link. And we have kind of all our forms on our website now. They're all electronic and HIPAA compliant. And yeah, so it's been once we got everything set up, it's been pretty seamless. But of course, we're sort of learning and adjusting as we go. But yeah, we're taking referrals now. So anyone, any day is welcome to pick up the phone.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So I asked, so just asking people as I've given calls to check in, just kind of asking people where they're at, where their headspace is at. A lot of the things that, a lot of the words that I kept hearing were, I'm just feeling lonely. I'm anxious because they don't, of the unknowns. And a lot of them were saying that they were just bored. So yeah, I'd love to hear kind of what in your experience and what your expertise would suggest for those experiencing. We'll start off with loneliness. For those that are experiencing loneliness during quarantine and isolation, just what are some practices that they can activate to help cope with or alleviate some of that feeling of loneliness?
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's a secret that, loneliness and isolation are contributors to mental health struggles, and that's in the day-to-day. And so now, of course, that can feel more pronounced for some folks. And I, first of all, just want to normalize all of those feelings that people are having. It's a very unique time, and we kind of say all those feelings are welcome, and people will have them at different times in different ways. And it is a collective grief that's happening, as Brene Brown said on her podcast last week. And so that will look really different for different people. And some days are really good and some are harder. But at the Refuge Center, we talk about a window of tolerance, which is really that place emotionally, mentally, physically, where you're operating really effectively and healthily in a given day. And when stress and trauma happen, which are happening to all of us right now, that window gets smaller. And so we're more likely to go into hyperarousal, which would be the anxiety, the fight, flight, or freeze. Your cortisol goes up, your stress hormone. So irritability, anger, that goes up. If you go below the window of tolerance, that's your hypoarousal, which you're just talking about, that more lethargic, depressed, lonely, isolated state. And so for us all to be tuned into ourselves during this time, to kind of know, hey, we're really getting out of our zone. I need to tell my partner, my spouse, my friend, my roommate, do I need to connect with myself and God? And what can I do in those moments? And for kind of the more lethargic states, we actually polled our therapists last week, just because we've had a lot of requests to get on podcasts and that kind of thing lately to talk about these kinds of issues, because everybody's experiencing them. And so something that some of the tools that rose to the top were like, create that structure allows, when your kind of exterior structures go away, we really need to create interior models of structure for our minds and bodies to continue to flourish on some level. It gives us agency in a time when we're out of control, like, okay, I can exert agency over this aspect of my life, even if that's coming up with a certain schedule for you or your family or your homeschooling situation. For feeling that lonely and isolation too, check in with your initial human need. Are you thirsty? Do you need to hydrate? Do you need to get active and move? Do you need to connect with somebody? And I think being really creative right now, you're talking about is kind of the creative ways even Church of the City has been connecting virtually, whether it's through the groups, our worship services, all of that. And so lean into these opportunities for virtual connection. Call a family member or friend, and certainly always reach out to a telehealth therapist, additional support, and you're finding yourself having more ongoing emotional distress that you seem to not be able to kick. That is, unfortunately, this is bring up a lot of things for people who are already experiencing mental health issues, and then it might be the first time some people are experiencing this level of depressed mood or anxiety. So, yeah,
it's really helpful. And then those that are experiencing, I guess, the anxiety, what would you, just like with the unknowns, things like unemployment, financial stress, personal health, relationships, just what are some disciplines that they can use to help bring some peace and some relief?
Yeah, I relate to the hyperarousal a lot. Yeah, well, so anxiety and stress, they live in our body and they create a lot of pressure on our body. So that's when we have these sensations of feeling tight in our chest or agitated. And so with anxiety, we usually say movement, 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 right? Go take that walk, get out in the sun, do your yoga, lift some weights, cook, do something to remind your body of presence, And so that brings me to the next one, which would be, live in the present as much as you can. There's so much unknown right now, which is more than we're even used to living, and some of our normal is being stripped away. And so as we sort of prepare and wait for this new normal, being able to practice presence and living in each day. I even think of the Lord's Prayer, give us today our daily bread. And what an invitation to really lean in to the Lord's reminder of just living in the day. And I can't think of a better time to lean into that encouragement towards presence. Now, of course, with anxiety and hyperarousal, meditation can help. Lean into your spiritual disciplines, journaling, prayer. And those tend to be really grounding, because we really want, with anxiety, to be grounding ourselves back to the present moment, back to what is true and right in the moment. And sometimes too, it's getting busy again, doing your work, homeschooling, creating that structure and routine in your household. And of course, like I said, in each of them, and nature's a big one for people. I mean, nature is a constant that might be one of the more constant things we have right now. So there are a lot of great tools out there, meditations, but yes, I think we all will have days where we need to lean into a different tool or rhythm for ourselves. And a lot of this is about self-awareness and connecting enough with ourselves to identify our need, identify our emotion, and then connecting that with something to do if we need to do something.
That makes sense. So I guess that would also, I would imagine, kind of go into those that are experiencing boredom. What can they start implementing into their routines? Those that are experiencing the restlessness, stir crazy, or the other side, just lazy binges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, again, trying to normalize all of this. We're all experiencing this at different times in different ways. And to give yourself self-compassion. If you do need a day just to rest, your body's tired, you're emotionally tired, rest, But I do encourage you that when we have a little bit more margin and things are slowed down, we have more ability to be creative. We have greater discernment. So we want to tap into those kinds of opportunities. Okay, I'm bored. Is there a project I can do? Is there a life-giving podcast I can listen to? You know, is there a consistent friend or friend group I need to connect with that maybe I hadn't in a while? So it is, we do have some margin right now, perhaps, to get a little more creative about our time, especially if we're forced to, if we're, you know, losing jobs or don't have as much to do, or it's something we can all relate to. So get innovative, you know.
One of my friends is gardening right now.
Yes,
I've always wanted to, so I'm just
I
going to do
love
it.
it. I love it. Gardening, cooking, you know, baking. Pick up a new hobby, because I think, you know, there's a lot of heaviness to this season, but the more we're honest about the hard emotions and the hard days, we really open ourselves up to be able to experience the joy and the gratitude moments too. Because when we're being authentic about our hard emotions, we can be really authentic about the peaceful emotions and the goodness in each day, even amidst all the uncertainty and hard.
Oh, I love that. Well, that is so helpful. I'm so grateful for that information, not just for our people, but also for me. That's really great. So how can people find the Refuge Center? What are some like socials? Because I know that you guys are offering some different things. So how can people do that?
So I definitely would encourage you. We do tons of updates on our social media. So our Facebook and Instagram, we've got some new groups coming out for finding gratitude, acceptance, and peace amidst uncertainty. I think that one starts next Wednesday. So we're at Refuge Center for Counseling on Instagram, and then Facebook, Refuge Center for Counseling. So I definitely encourage you to our social, because we try to give daily updates on services and helpful tools and resources from our therapists. And then, of course, our website, refugecenter.org. You can call us for a telehealth appointment, or you can call us just for more information. We have a lot of content on our website. And again, we've got some groups coming up, and then we have a virtual event called Live Intentionally, Living with Presence, Connection, and Intention After Trauma. And that was supposed to be a live event, but we've made it virtual.
Oh, wow.
So that's next Friday, April 17th, that we'll send that link out to registrants. So if anybody's interested in that, I recommend popping in online and signing up on our event page. But at the Refuge Center, I mean, we just say you don't have to walk this road alone. And I think now more than ever that resonates for everybody. I mean, we are all in this together. Suffering does not discriminate. And at times we all need to reach out for help, whether it's we need to grieve something, we are having a difficult time with anxiety or depression, or a parenting issue or a relationship issue. And so this is just life stuff. And whether you want to extra support during the COVID crisis or beyond, we are here for you. And we're thankful for Church of the City and the way you guys continue to make our sliding scale possible, so that people who really wouldn't be able to get the kind of support are able to. And so it takes a village,
Yes, it sure does. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but I do want to ask on a personal note, what is your current COVID quarantine snack?
I thought I was going to say dark chocolate, or I would have said dark chocolate, or I don't know, but it's organic cheddar bunnies, which is my 18-month-old favorite snack. And they're so good. And I just grab a handful in the kitchen on my little movement breaks from my virtual office. So,
Love it.
Even toddler food can be soothing during these times. You just never know. When you give yourself some margin.
Yeah. Find your children. Find your happy.
Yeah. But you guys are doing great work over there. And for Holy Week, I just can't think of a better time to sort of lean into, the Lord's promises and being able to trust Him literally in the day to day. So
totally. Well, thank you.
Glad we can worship virtually too.
The truth. Well, we are so grateful for you guys. For you, I'm so grateful for your time and the work that y'all are doing. To find out more, go to the links that Kathryn told you about. And
I can send them charities. That'd be easier for y'all to include on here. Okay.
totally, that'd be perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Connect
Great.
with Kathryn, connect with the Refuge Center. Like she said, we're all in this together. We're all doing it because we're not meant to do it alone.
Thanks.
Love you, church.
Right. Bye.
Bye.